Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Moon Knighting, the DU reaction show for Marvel's Moon Knight. I am one of your co-hosts. Okay, that's terrible. Hey, this is Joe. How you guys doing? Of course,
I loved it. That was really fun.
we're a little bit behind here, but we're going to be talking about the first two episodes of Marvel's Moon Knight. So, of course, with me is Ryan and Alex. How you guys doing?
We're good. I'm good. I don't know how Alex is. Sorry, I answered for you.
I don't know where Alex is. My name's Stephen Grant, bruv.
I love how he uses bruv.
Rough.
I like that one.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the first two episodes of Moon Knight, and we're going to kind of go in order. So we're going to start with the goldfish problem, the pilot episode, and I don't know. Does anybody want to give a quick synopsis, or should we just get into it? Or
I think by now people have probably seen it. I think for
Yeah.
episode 3, maybe we'll do a synopsis.
fair enough. So
I.e., we were unprepared.
Well, we were prepared, and then some of us fell asleep, and then the other time some people were tired. It's just been.
We don't have a synopsis, but yes, we hope you all watched it.
Yeah.
We watched it, enjoyed it. I think I would probably speak for all of us that episode 1 was a little slow. It was building it out a little bit and setting the scene for what's going to happen. Confusing was a word I heard used as we just started talking here, and I also concur with that. But I think it piqued my interest in what's going to happen going forward in the season.
yeah, very to me not quite the same, but very similar to WandaVision on the first episode, where people are like, "What the hell's going on here?" Not really sure.
I
But
think Marvel fans were more prepared for that. I think we knew what was going to happen going into WandaVision a little bit more.
Yeah, and the fact that
I was stumped with WandaVision with that whole black and white. I didn't know where they were going with that. At least I think we understand, the premise of Stephen Grant, Mark Spector, Moon Knight, at least a little bit. It's just how they're connected and when one becomes the other and stuff like that, which is what we're kind of learning through episode 1 and obviously into episode 2. So far.
Yeah, because I think that the toughest part definitely was this was a brand new character for about 95% of MCU fans. So being the fact that, a lot of people don't have a backstory, and kind of takes me back once again to thanking David, Blurred Hulk, and Sam from Marble Tribe for giving us that 101 show, because that actually did help a lot in ways, especially with the different personalities. So, and check out their show, of course, their breakdown of Moon. I was in Moon Knighting. We do the Moon Knighting. It's regular Moon Knight, but kind of confusing. But I like that they're not giving you everything right away too. So I like the fact that he was, zoning out. Then it went to the aftermath right away. I actually kind of dug that. I did want to start though that we is weird because we got that weird introduction to Ethan Hawke's character, Arthur. It's Arthur, right? I believe. I think he's got like 2 names, but
the guy with the blonde hair.
yeah. So main characters. I'll just start. Oscar Isaac as well. We're introduced to him as Stephen first, but the first character that we actually get is Ethan Hawke as Arthur Harrow, who's kind of like that cult leader, really Egyptian. He's associated with the Egyptian goddess Ammit, which is the one that passes judgment. And so that scene we got with him at the beginning was very weird, where he's just drinking the water, breaks a glass, puts it in the sandal, and starts walking with him. Like, all right, this dude's kind of weird, but we see that he does have some kind of powers in judging people. It looks like, there's a lot of people in this cult that he has. And they come to play later on in the episode, but Ryan, I'm sorry though. Did you actually kind of you didn't give your initial thought? So,
it's interesting. I think the CGI is kind of lacking for 2022, whatever year we're in. I've seen better from like WandaVision and Mando, so my expectations are always like it needs to be on par or a little bit better. I don't know if you guys felt like that about the CGI at all. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna keep watching it. It's not like my favorite show that they've put out so far throughout the first 2 episodes, but there's still 6 episodes left.
4.
4? Okay. Yeah, no, it's entertaining. I'm not like bored. So yes, it's a good show. I don't know if I'd be so gung ho to watch it like at midnight on Wednesdays if I didn't have this, but
yeah, it is a tough. I will admit, I enjoy the show a lot, and I enjoy Oscar Isaac. I think already you could throw him in whatever the Emmys for Best Actor already nomination, and even Ethan Hawke. I mean, anyways. I think the show's been really good, but it is that kind of slow burn, like Alex mentioned, intriguing, but it's kind of like, all right, where's this going? What are they doing? And I can kind of see where a lot of the press got to see the first 4 episodes, probably because a lot of them have been giving a good thumbs up, but when you're watching it in bulk,
yeah,
you're kind of seeing where it's going. So, but what you got something, Alex, or?
No, I was going to say about the press, getting those first 4 episodes. It kind of reminds me of, again, WandaVision, how they gave us 2 episodes. And I think it wasn't until episode 4 where we actually got, them breaking through into, whatever you want to call it, the real world outside of the television and Wanda's world, for lack of a better term. And my whole theory on that was the reason they gave us 2 episodes to start with is they were afraid people wouldn't wait 4 full weeks to, see where it was going. So by having 2 episodes first, you only had to wait till that 3rd week to actually say, okay, it's not going to be in a classic TV show the whole time, or at least the whole show. It'll be parts in and out and trying to figure out how it was going on. With this one, it was just the press that got that advantage. And for what I've seen so far, I'm not really disappointed. I think I'm kind of excited to see what happens after 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Because obviously, they could have gave them the whole thing, So it's almost like what's in 4 episodes that you had to give them that much, and what's going to happen after 4 episodes that you didn't want to give them all of it.
Yeah, and I think kind of piggyback on what you're saying, I totally agree with you. I think a lot of the stuff that's coming at the end might actually have a small tie-in with Doctor Strange, and I think some of it was teased in the first 2 episodes, and I'll bring that up in a second. But I just want to talk about what do we think about Steven so far? He's basically our main character, our main iteration of who we see. So what do we think of his character? Do we like the accent? Do we like that he's kind of a loser in a way? I mean,
I think I have different feelings after episode 1 and episode 2. Yeah. Episode 1 was interesting, getting to meet Steven, and I think the perspective of it is that, as you said, he is the main character. But then after episode 2, it kind of, begs the question is, Mark Spector, the main guy, and Steven is the sub. So I guess, again, my interest is piqued. I think Steven's interesting, but I'm really kind of still in that questioning space of what's going on here.
Yeah, and I like that little mystery aspect of it. Because one thing that we did find out from Marvel Tribe was Steven in the comics is a millionaire. He's a millionaire playboy, but he's basically Bruce Wayne, in a way. And because we got a lot of that comparison to Moon Knight, Batman, and stuff. So he's a gift shop clerk at a museum, and I mean the way we're introduced to him seems very funny, very weird. He wakes up in bed with his ankle shackled to a pole.
Yeah, I thought I put on 50 Shades for a second there.
I know, right? Then the sand around his bed. I mean, so we see that he knows he has sleepwalking issues that he thinks it is, but we're introduced to Gus, the one-finned fish. One-finned fish at the time that we find him later. Yeah. So I know a lot of people are joking around like, oh, Gus, we got a variant fish with him, but runs into trouble. Has the date with a tour guide, and we find out he's a vegan, taking her on a date to a steakhouse. So, we're getting these weird pieces that obviously he does. Obviously, there's another personality kicking in, and but I think Oscar Isaac's acting, in at least in the first 2 episodes, have been pretty top notch. I don't want to say just for a TV show, but it is Marvel. So I don't know. I thought it was really good. I do like Steven. I like his. He just once Khonshu, the god, starts talking to him like, "Oh, the loser's awake again." Switch back, and then he keeps zipping through Mark basically. So then that's when we find the Arthur Harrow has that power where he's judging people, and his tattoo has that like kind of like the grain, that weight scale, right? I mean, that's what
like the judge's scale. Yeah. It's something with a judge, right? I think
pretty much, and that's what the goddess Ammit is kind of. He's judging in for her, but it's kind of like I've heard. I know Alex, you probably heard this on other podcasts, Ringerverse and stuff, but basically the like Minority Report, she's getting judged. Like the old lady gets judged to death, and she's old and hasn't done anything. She's lived a good life, but something in the future might cause her to be judged negatively. So
it's the ships from Captain America's what's it called? Winter Soldier. The ships that can detect if you're going to do a bad thing before.
Yeah. The algorithm. So
yeah.
But I don't know, very interesting. But that's when we see Steven really that after he wakes up, obviously with a broken jaw or dislocated jaw. A lot of people are saying that town or village they're in it's unofficially where Dr. Doom is from. I forget that the name of the country. It's a made-up country, I think. But I know a lot of people have said they think that's where it's from, but that's where he gets the scarab, the gold scarab. And then that's when he runs into Arthur judging people. Hilariously, too, because he senses, or he's told that's gone. And he says something, get down, in, I think, Egyptian. And then we get, where I think Steven's a little bit of Jack Sparrow. He's like, oh, bollocks. He goes down and stuff. So, I don't know. I love Steven so far. He's a fun character. And, but yeah, this is one of the big action set pieces of the episode happens where he keeps going from back and forth with Steven and Mark in the chase, after he murders the people that are like trying to get him. So, are you happy the way they didn't reveal Moon Knight right away, or how they did it? Or I know some people were kind of annoyed with just the quick flash and then it was done. What you guys think of how that was done?
I honestly didn't even think about it.
I don't know how they would have done it without it being R-rated.
Yeah. It was pretty bloody aftermath. So,
because an idea I had, a possible prediction of something that could happen is, while I do think it would be a waste of one of 6 maybe not a waste, but if there's only 6 episodes, it would be tough if this was a whole episode. But basically, episode 1 from Mark's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, seeing all the stuff that was like Mark asking the girl on the date, and Mark every time he flashed to Mark, but it would basically be just a bunch of small action sequences in between.
That and trading the fish. Obviously, something happened to the fish.
Trading the fish. Why? I don't get it. What was wrong with it? I mean, I know he had one fin, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess Steven's okay with it and Mark isn't.
Well, I mean, one thing we find out too is from the date when he realizes, like, oh crap, is that the time? I got a date tonight. He shows up, he's waiting and finds out it's 2 days later, and the date was supposed to be Friday evening. He winds up calling her, and she's like, "Oh, don't ever call. You're 2 days late or something." He's like, "What? No, it's Friday. Friday comes after Thursday." And I just felt so. I don't know. Like I said, I just felt so bad for Steven because I mean the way we know he's a vegan, we know he's getting crap from his boss. So now that he's on his date with this pretty girl that she thinks blew him off, the waiter's like, "Well, what do you want?" He's like, "I'll have the steak." All right, what cut? The best bits. Okay, how do you want it cooked? The best way. Well done. Yeah. I mean, you see the pain and I mean the sadness and just how did he lose 2 days? I mean, you could see that in his face. This is what I'm saying. Such great acting on Oscar Isaac's part is you could feel his pain of not knowing how he blanked out of 2 whole days. So, and miss out on a date with a
and basically, saying screw it to being a vegan.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He's got bigger fish to fry or bigger problems.
Yeah.
I have a question. It doesn't have to do with the scene. So Mark and what's the other guy that's living inside of Steven? Steven's the American one, right?
No,
Steven's the British one.
Yes.
So Mark died, and then the God saved him, right?
In the comics, yeah, that's how he.
So did Mark look the same as what Steven looks like, or was Mark just a different looking person and they chose Steven's body to be a host?
Well, I think he just, I mean, what's the proper term? I don't want to say split personality, but there's that proper term.
Multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
So Mark looks like Mark is Mark, and one of Mark's people in his head is Steven.
Yes.
Okay.
And once we start talking about the second episode, I'll kind of bring out some of my theories about that.
Okay. I've just been really confused on that. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very confusing. And I think it's purposely confusing to keep people on their toes.
The more you try and think about it, it just kind of pokes holes in it. So I'm just kind of going along for the ride. The other podcast you mentioned, I remember the first episode, they're like, so does Steven has a social security number? How did he get his job? Da, 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 da.
Yeah, like I was thinking that too. Like I know it's a show and tomorrow's show you're supposed to have fun, and it's the same with like Spider-Man. At the end, there's so many like things that just don't add up.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're supposed to have fun, but like when they just keep doing it, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think one thing that it'll come back to, and this isn't really jumping ahead, but we find out that Mark is a mercenary. He's a badass, basically. He's a contract killer, basically.
Boba Fett.
Yeah. So, because that's how Arthur already knows who he is. You know, when he sees Mark or sees Steven. See, I'm already confused. So we find out that he's a mercenary, but we don't know too much until they're in the museum with all of the cult members, and Arthur comes and goes to judge Steven. And this is where this is the first clue where I think that we'll have a little bit of time with Doctor Strange, but when he's judging him, he's not getting judged. The pendulum keeps swinging and swinging. Then Arthur looks at him and he says, there's chaos in you. And so one thing we learned from WandaVision is that's the first time we really heard chaos magic in the MCU. If you follow the comics, you know chaos magic is huge in the Marvel universe. So being that nothing is put out by accident, in the MCU. So that I'm like, okay, this is where we're starting to tie in a little bit. Then Steven goes out running and he lets him. Arthur's like, let him go. And then next thing you know, he's being chased by your bad CGI jackals, and that we don't know at the time, but are invisible to everybody except who's chasing him. And so then he locks himself in the bathroom, and then basically Mark is like, Steve, this is rough.
Just say American and English.
Yeah. Poe tells Duncan, but he's like, let me take charge. Let us save us. That thing's going to pull you to shreds. And after a couple of questioning, and he's basically like, you want to know the truth? Okay, I'm an avatar for Khonshu. And so are you, basically, because we're the same person. And once you let me in charge, we'll be able to get free of here. So he lets him free. Then that's when we see Moon Knight. We see him giving in to him before the jackal tackles him. Then you hear fighting. Then all of a sudden you see Moon Knight drag him back into the bathroom, beats him to a pulp. And so we see Moon Knight for the first time, and that's it. Episode 1. So what did you think of like how that ended, or I mean, I know there's a lot of confusion, but
I mean, it was the payoff we were waiting for. You know,
yeah.
Show me the suit. Show me the suit.
Yeah.
And so we got that. Like I said, it was, you know, if I had to rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably call it a 6, maybe a 6.5. It built the world. It's giving you background, but it's also left holes. And I guess in a lot of cases, when they leave holes like that, they're generally filled in later on. So it's one of those, either go back and watch it again later, or just, you know, remember these things because they're probably going to bring reference to them again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. I'll give it I think a solid 6.5, maybe pushing 7, just because it, no matter what, it's still built up. Like you said, the intrigue.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, I'm on board. The one thing, I was really excited to watch this at midnight, and that was kind of a mistake because I knocked out pretty quick. And then I tried to watch it again in the morning before work, but I was still kind of tired. So I slept a little bit in the morning, so I missed it. And that happened with both episodes. So I think I need to be of mind to watch this because
be prepared. I think all of the first 4 episodes when they released, that they were giving them to the press, are over 45 minutes long.
Yeah, the first one was 47, and the second one was, I think, right at 52.
I think.
Yeah. So, we did get the second episode. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up too is I didn't know this before, but the voice of Concho was Effort Murray Abraham, which is a big time actor.
I couldn't name a thing he's been in, but I definitely remember him.
Yeah, so he the thing that stands out to me is he was excuse me, one of the teachers in Finding Forrester. He's been in a couple of gangster movies.
Yeah, wasn't he on one of those long running cop shows?
I believe so. I can't remember which one though.
Yeah,
but he's been in a lot of stuff. I know if people look him up, they'll recognize him. So, but we did get the second episode already, and that was. I knew we were going to have a fun episode once I saw the title, and Summon the Suit is what we got, and basically starts off exactly where episode 1 ends. You see a zoom in on the sand, and you just hear you hear the jackal and a bunch of screaming and fighting, and then Steven wakes up, jumps out of bed, he's still buckled up. So before we get to the details, what was your initial feelings for episode 2, Summon the Suit?
Episode 2 was great. There was you got more of the suit, obviously, so you got to see our titular character much more. The interaction with what do we call him, Albert, or Ethan Hawke's character?
Arthur Harrow.
Yeah, he's proving to be a very intriguing villain for the MCU, and I hope that we leave with some of these characters still intact to build up some of the other things coming up in the MCU. It was a fun episode. I really loved the way it ended. I always love a scene or a change of scenery in a show or a movie. I always think about like Indiana Jones and the plane flying over.
Oh yeah, with the little line and the dot.
Yeah.
No,
but I'm excited to see where it's going after that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode too. Like I said, just kicking in from the beginning. Mark's, he's or Steven, really, really aware that there is definitely something. It's not just sleepwalking, that there is the multiple personality disorder, because he even looks at the mirror first thing after he unstraps himself. He's like, you there? Yeah, I didn't think so. So no, but we get just the interactions. I know this episode kind of jumps all over the place, but just the interactions that we get with Ethan Hawke and Steven was great. Like I said, I can see them already both getting nominated for just acting in this. And I'm trying to remember how this episode goes. I was watching it. I started watching it before. So he goes back to work, and then we runs into the security guy, because the bathroom, the loo, is destroyed. So, and he's like, all right, just so you know, I want to see this. He agrees to let him watch the security. He's like, all right, watch this. And we just see him hiding and running, but no jackal. And so basically, that's how we find out that the jackals are invisible. But he basically gets fired, and because he destroyed the bathroom. Basically, that's what it looked like. So, and one thing we didn't bring up in about the first episode, but he has a certain friend that he can kind of talk to that doesn't talk back, and this is a street performer who's credited as Crawley, and I think saying going back to Ringerverse, and I was watching on Nerdist, but they actually mentioned Crawley is a character in the comics who's a homeless guy that Steven confides in, and he's like an informant too in a way. So it's kind of interesting that it's this street performer that's just a human statue basically, and that doesn't move at all in the first episode, and he's not moving at all while Steven's talking to him, but he goes to hug him and he kind of reacts to the hug. So, and then he realizes because see, we really skimmed over a lot of stuff in the first episode that I forget now, but
yeah, we will be better with our synopsis for
yes,
3.
Yes, we definitely will.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the what do you say, Crawley, the mom that he's talking to on the phone, and then of course in episode 2 we meet Mark's wife. Lily, I think. Layla,
and because she's on the phone
in episode 1.
Yeah,
and I guess she's able to track him with that phone, and that's how she catches up with him. And I guess we find out that her and Mark had been hunting this scarab together, and I'm going to probably just spit a bunch of stuff out of order, but basically Mark is Khonshu's avatar, but he's prepared to use Layla, and so Mark is basically doing it so that he doesn't use Layla instead, which kind of might be a reason why he's created Steven to get away from Layla.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of questions, but yeah, the action was great in this one. Again, the interaction between Steven and Arthur was really good, and we find out that Arthur was at one point Kanishu's avatar as well. The way that he was just like saying, "Oh yeah, is he doing this now? Is he doing this?"
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Spot on.
And even before that, like after Steven talks to Crawley, because he mentions like, "Oh yeah, the key to the storage." So he tracks down, I think, 5 different storage locker or like it's like going to the U-Haul, different storages. So he went to 5 different ones, and the guy recognized him, took him straight to his storage container, more like bunker, and let him in. And that's where we found there's a little cot, there's backpacks, weapons. Finds the bag that had the scarab and a gun, and so then he tells basically. And so Mark is trying to like tell him, what's going on. I got to finish this mission. Then blah blah blah. And Steven's like, screw it, I'm going to get arrested so they could stick me in a basically in a doctor or something, so he doesn't have to worry about hurting people. Runs out, and that's where Khonshu's chasing him through the storage container, very creepily. I mean, it's not like horror scary, but still kind of creepy. And this is the second time because he did it in the first episode in the hallway with the elevator.
Yeah, I will say I enjoy the Khonshu CGI.
Yeah,
I think that character looks really cool.
Oh, I agree.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it. I think something that I kind of heard is that there's kind of a bunch of these Egyptian gods or whatever. So we will probably see. Or I don't know if we see in this episode the one that Arthur's the avatar for?
No.
Okay, but I am predicting that we probably will at some point. if not
agree.
others in addition to that, especially considering where we end up at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I agree. And again, great interaction with Arthur and Steven. And then he chases again, after Layla, then the cops come, they wind up being more cult members to Arthur. And so that's where we get the big talk. But then, and that's the whole time where Khonshu's following them, but Arthur knows. He's like, oh, did he say this? Is he there? Tell him that, so it's like, he's obviously not scared of Khonshu, but Khonshu has no power over him anymore. Then leads into another big action-packed scene where, again, Mark wants Steven to give in, let him take over. Doesn't quite happen, and then we get introduced to Mr. Knight, the version, which was hilarious in my opinion. The way he lands, and he lands in that kind of like crouch arm, but then it tips over because he's still not used to it.
Almost a attempted superhero pose.
Yeah, superhero landing. Very Deadpool-esque in his comedy and actions. And so I love that we get the mirror image of Mr. Knight and Moon Knight, and even Moon Knight's like, what are you wearing? You look ridiculous, And the way he's pulling out the weapons behind I forget what those are called, but basically the batons, and just the action we're getting. Then, so this is the second clue about tying in with Doctor Strange, is we find out that the way Arthur summons the jackals, he kind of like sticks the cane in the ground. And that's where we get like the purple magic, like oh my gosh, brain fart. Agatha Harkness had that same purpley magic. So I was thinking that ties in with Doctor Strange, that we get that purple witch magic, and that's how he gets the jackals. So. And Ryan is back. So,
back. Sorry.
Just so you know, we're talking about the beginning of Mr. Knight being revealed.
In episode 2.
Mr. Knight guy is the one in the suit?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is his name not Moon Knight?
Because it's a different.
Is it a different character?
It's Steven's version of Moon Knight that he didn't give. No, it's Steven's version because he didn't give full control to Mark.
Yeah, the way I see it, when Mark is in the driver's seat, he becomes Moon Knight, but Steven, trying to hold on to some control,
it's Mr. Knight
ended up as a proper Mr. Knight. Knight, governor.
I really hope there's there's not another person in there. It's gonna make things so confusing in my head.
So we're saying it's pretty much like a British Deadpool.
British Deadpool.
in a way, but that action I thought was great. Is a great introduction to Mr. Knight. I've heard people excited about seeing him, and I can see why. He was a fun character.
Is that a comic book thing too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if they'll drop Hot Toys of that one too.
I've already seen both of them,
and they're both Hot Toys.
I've seen previews of both of them. Yeah.
Oh, I've only seen the
regular Moon Knight, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look very good.
Yeah. And
they plastic as like the hood. I know it's like fabric isn't going to hold, but it's when it's supposed to be like Egyptian cotton or whatever it is, and it's plastic. I won't be picking that one up.
But and kind of going to Disneyland, they've both been at Avengers Campus.
I didn't know both of them. That's pretty cool.
And the cool thing is they're only showing up at night, so the eyes light up.
Ooh,
so
that's cool.
So after the first episode of Moon Knight, very similar to when we saw it in June and Loki came out. So they had the regular Moon Knight costume after the first show for the week. Like he came out Thursday, and then the following Wednesday after this episode came out, next Thursday Mr. Knight came out, and I think the Mr. Knight version looks kind of funny at Disneyland.
Yeah, how many characters do you think we're gonna get out of this, or like not characters but costume variants?
I think just the 2.
Okay.
Unless Layla ends up becoming a knight as well.
Oh, possibly. Like Spider Gwen or Gwen Venom.
Knight?
Sorry if you talked about this, we don't talk about it. But when Mark says that the god wants his wife, is that because she's smarter?
You know, we don't know yet.
Okay.
I think it's just because he knows that's a string to pull on Mark.
Okay.
In a way.
Oh, also I had one more question. Is Mark a bad? Like, is he a villain? Like, is Moon Knight a villain?
He's a. I guess he could be considered an anti-hero, being that Mark is a mercenary and killer, but used to judge and fight for justice.
Okay.
So yeah, it sounds like he kills badder people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like on I don't know, Ryan, if you've seen True Lies, but you know when they do the True Serum, and she asks him, "Did you ever kill anybody?" And he's like, "Yeah, but they were all bad."
I don't know what that is, but
oh my gosh,
I know I'm the worst.
Yeah, terrible. But going to multiple characters, I do think there is another personality that's been hiding in the background the last 2 episodes. David mentioned it, that there's a character, Jake. I want to say Jake Locker, but I know he played for the Huskies.
Jake the Snake.
We talked about that on Midnight.
Oh, yeah. But he's a taxi driver, but he's kind of a jerk. And so I think he's been hiding, his character has been hiding. And after seeing like how Mark is, I don't think Mark would switch the fish or ask another girl on a date when he's married. And every time they've shown Steven looking in the mirror, there's always been 3 mirrors. And kind of I'm going to jump to the final scene, but we get that final where Steven's in the mirror and he doesn't like it in there. So he's kind of trapped now because now Mark is running the show. And then Khonshu's like, well, we got, Arthur's got the scarab now and trying to resurrect Ahmed. I think that's why he wants it, to resurrect her. And so Khonshu's basically saying, all right, well, there's only one place we need to go. Next thing you know, boom, change of scene. You see Steven in the mirror in a hotel, and then you see what I think a lot of people are thinking is Mark drinking on the floor in a hotel that opens and they're in Egypt. But I think just from what we've learned of Mark, that he's a complete by the book military, and he wouldn't be drunk on the floor. And I think that's the third personality, Jake. So, because that's how it ended. Episode 1 ended with a final visual of here's Moon Knight, and then this one I think is. So I don't know. I think they've been giving clues about the third personality, but that's just a little.
I don't know if I could handle another personality.
He's not. I don't think he has a costume though.
In only 6 episodes too. I feel like. I mean, I don't know where their end game is, but a lot of the rumors is that we'll see Moon Knight again with Blade and the Black Knight, and there's the Werewolf by Night Halloween special that we're getting later this year as well.
Yeah, and that's where Moon Knight was actually first shown. It was a different take on him. They changed him, but that was his first introduction, was that Wolf by Night.
So I do think we'll get some sort of a conclusion and resolution, but I don't think we're going to get all the resolution we may.
No,
because I have a lot of questions still.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're hashtag confusion, but hashtag intrigued. So I mean, I'm on the show. I'm not sure if I'm quite. I got to stay up to midnight to watch it on a Tuesday, but I am enjoying the show, and that's mainly because of the acting of Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. So,
who chained him to the bed? Does Steven chain himself to the bed?
I think
so. When Mark, is he just unchain himself and then chain himself back?
I think he changed himself because he thinks he's sleepwalking.
But he's sleep killing.
Right.
Yeah. But then I think that's where Jake comes in. Like, you're a dumbass. I'm going to retape it when we get back home, anyways. I'm going to smooth out the sand when we get back home. So, and I'm going to ask.
Like that character is going to be very funny. I look forward to something like that. But
yeah.
Where does the name Jake come in? Is that something from the comic books? Or?
Yeah, it's his third personality. And according to the comics, like I said, he's a cab driver. And but being that Steven was a millionaire in the comics and he's just a gift shop, he might just be some random guy. Or I don't think he's going to be a cab driver, but we'll find out. And even if he even shows up anyways. So
strangeness.
One of the things I wanted to mention, although I didn't really take the time to write them all down, is the use of soundtrack in at least the first episode, but probably both of them. Just noticed the choice of song at different points, whether it was the intro when he was putting glass in his shoes or the ice cream truck down the mountain or whatever. There were just very poignant song choices in all the different scenes.
Yeah.
So at some point I may get together and make a Moon Knight playlist or just, come back and mention or going forward, make note of the songs and what the songs may be saying or about what's going on in those spaces.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there's one already. I know people are pretty quick. I know when we were watching Peacemaker, there was before their original Peacemaker playlist was made, they did one. People did one on their own. I'm looking it up right now, and I see.
Oh, you make me yawn.
I sent it all the way up to Canada.
Traveling.
I've got to go to sleep so Mark can come out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I see the score, but I'm not going to look it up. But yeah, it's very. I mean, from Wham to Bob Dylan to, like I said, some specific songs that tied into that scene. It was very James Gunn-esque in that. So,
on that sleep note, I will pose this question to both of you. If you were to have another personality take over your body while you were sleeping, what's their name and what do they do?
Mine's The Rock and works out for me.
There you go. You would definitely wake up like, why am I so swole?
Yeah.
I thought I missed leg day.
What's with all these steroid needles? No, I was kidding.
My name would be Toby, and I'm a midnight Lyft driver.
I was just gonna say the cab driver thing sounds like it'd be a fun thing to do while you're in another personality and asleep.
Yeah, good way to get beat up too. And he wakes up beat up sometimes. So, what about you, Alex?
Shoot. Mine would be Reggie, and he'd be a DJ.
Nice,
Reggie the DJ.
Very cool. Well, right on. Well, we're just a few days away from episode 3, the midway point of Moon Knight, and there was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of take in, but it is an entertaining show. I do enjoy that. I'm watching something that I don't know the background at all, so it makes it kind of like a fun watch for me anyway. So I'm looking forward to the next one and see where we go.
Both your circle of friends that watch this show confused? Is everyone a little confused? Sorry, I got mid talking. Is your guys like circle of friends that's watching the show confused as well?
I haven't really talked to anybody else other than you guys that have watched it, at least thus far.
Yeah, same. So
okay, well, our circle of friends is confused.
I know people are liking it more than Morbius. So
did you guys see that?
No. Especially not after we heard it was bad and you said it was bad.
Yeah.
Generally, if you say something's bad, I probably wouldn't touch it. But if it's being universally panned and you don't like it, I actually had I thought you were gonna like it after everyone else said it was bad.
Oh, dude! Like we were just. If you go in a little not sober, it would be a good time because we were sober and we were just laughing at it because it was so bad. But if you're a little something, it would be even funnier.
I saw a funny meme.
End credit scene's pretty cool though. So,
well, I heard something about it, but it said, "Oh, my friend posted something that was like, waited for the." I forgot what the picture was. I'm see if I could pull it up real quick, but it's like waited all that time for the post credit scene, but still pissed off that Jared Leto made me waste my money or something like that.
yeah. It's do you want me to tell you the end credit? Do you know what it is? You're not gonna watch the movie, right?
Yeah, I don't think we should do that here.
No, okay.
We'll do it off recording.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
But one last Moon Knight thing, Moon Knighting thing. Do we know where this takes place in the MCU timeline yet?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, the great question. I don't think it's really been mentioned because there's been times where I thought it took place like, I was thinking in the early 2000s just because of a Razor phone.
Yeah. But they brought those back.
Oh yeah, they did. So
and it's not when, it's whose timeline is it in now?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, good point. So I don't know if you could see this, but it's the. Let me see if I can turn off the light. But it's. That look, because I love that look where he's like, "Hey, it's you." He's like, "That's not me." So, but yeah, I'm enjoying the show a lot. Even though a little confused, but it's a happy confusion. It's making, like Alex said, after episode 1, just really intrigued. So
piqued my interest.
Yes, piqued my fancy. So, any final opinions on the first 2 episodes, though, or
confusing but fun?
Seems to be the census.
They seem to get better as they go, so I hope that trend continues.
Yeah, and hashtag trust Kevin Feige, trust Marvel. Well, cool. Well, that is our first episode, our double episode of Moon Knighting. Before we, I almost knocked my phone off. Before we take off here, would you like to, Ryan, tell some people where they can interact with us a little bit more, special people that we love to thank?
Special people. Yes. So if you would like
that
to
was
be
a terrible handoff.
If you would like to be a special people, you can head over to patreon.com/DU crew. That is our special crew with our special people. And there's a couple different tiers you guys can pick from and look at all the cool goodies you can pick. But we're going to do our shout out to our special people. We have a couple super fans, Jen and Sasquatch. Thank you guys. We have Mike, Alfredo, Tyler, and Discord Apparel. So you guys can check out Discord. They got some cool shirts and heavy metal, Disney, hip hop, rock and roll mashups. So yeah, there you go.
Very, very cool. And of course, we couldn't do all this stuff on YouTube without our DU crew. So definitely check that out. And we'll be back a lot sooner and a lot more prepared for episode 3. So I guess later, Gators.
Make sure you get your tickets for Doctor Strange.
Yes, we got ours. So
I got mine.
Nice.
I don't have anything else to say.
All right, see you guys soon.
Later, bruv.
Later, bro.
Toodles.